Good morning, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog. Last night I finally finished, well not finally, I wasn't spending a lot of time on it, but I finished Final Fantasy II on the anniversary collection of Final Fantasy 1 through 6. I kept saying that this was the Pixel Remaster. It is not the Pixel Remaster. I finally found out the difference between, it literally says Anniversary Edition on the box. But you know, the Pixel Remaster was a Square Enix website exclusive whenever this set first came out, and really there's no difference besides the fact that the changes on here are a little bit better fleshed out because the Pixel Remaster was kind of, I mean, it came first and, you know, they learned from whatever mistakes the Pixel Remasters has. And I don't believe the Pixel Remasters had the sticker sheet. I don't know what I'm going to do with these stickers yet. I have like a little sticker book now. So I don't know, maybe I'll end up using these, I don't really know. But yeah, Final Fantasy II, I liked it a lot. Well, I almost liked it a lot. You know, it's a lot more story oriented than the first one is, which I appreciated. I mean, that's the reason why anybody should go to JRPGs for their stories. There were more like emotional events in this, you know, as emotional as a game from whatever year. As emotional as a game from 1988 could convey. I remember one character died due to like an Indiana Jones boulder chasing him or something, and like his dying words were something about you know, like protect my daughter or something. And my fiance and I were kind of chuckling at that because like you can only convey so much with a game as old as that. Like, you know, he gets like hit by this boulder and then he just kind of like blinks out of existence. So it's a little cheesy, but it's pretty good. I really like the dungeon designs in this too, especially the last one, the Pandemonium. Well, the visual designs, I mean. The actual map design can be a little bit frustrating, but like the art design of like the backgrounds and everything, like they're so vibrant. And creative. I feel like the actual map design, I don't remember if Final Fantasy I had this, but I feel like some of the dungeons in the second one, they just kind of exist to waste your time a little bit. Like if you don't have random encounters turned off, which for the most part I didn't. Like there are so many like empty rooms in these things, and they're literally there just for you to go into and then find that there's not a chest there and then walk back out, and then half the time that you walk out, you get a random encounter. It really is just frustrating. It's like, why would you put them there? Like they literally put them there solely to waste your time, and that's frustrating. I really like the character progression in this game. I don't know how people think of it. I hear like I'm under the impression that a lot of people didn't like the progression in this game, but I really thought it was interesting, like how everything has its own like level. Like you don't level up in Final Fantasy II. Your skills level up, and I think that's really interesting. It's like the more that you take damage, the more that your HP is going to level up. The more that you use magic, the more that your magic is going to level up. Each individual spell, you know, the more that you use them, that individual spell is going to level up. And the same thing with like weapons and armor and so on. I really liked that actually. That was really interesting. It kind of reminded me, I never finished this game because I wasn't a big fan of it, but it kind of reminds me of the progression in Dark Cloud, because you have like weapon progression. And I guess you get like a mastery the more that you use it. I wish I liked that game more because I really liked the progression in that game, and I'm glad that I got to experience that a little bit more with Final Fantasy II. On top of the progression, the characters are really customizable. I remember in the first one, you know, certain characters could only wield certain things because they had like specific classes or something. But the characters the characters in Final Fantasy II are they can wield everything, and I think that's really interesting because you can build You can build your character the way that you want it to. And it seemed like, I mean, I haven't really played a lot of games from this era, but considering my impressions of that era, it seems like it's pretty advanced for the time. How customizable those characters are. It's probably like the closest thing to like an RPG or like an old JRPG to Dungeons and Dragons. It felt that was an awkward sentence. That was the closest thing to Dungeons and Dragons an old JRPG felt from my experience. Anyway, I didn't realize, and I guess maybe Final Fantasy 1 had this too, but I checked out the extras and there's concept art, and the concept art is so good. I was looking at like the enemy designs, like the concept art of the enemies, and you can really see how terrifying these things are if you're imagining Final Fantasy 2 is like real, because you know the pixel art, even though the pixel art is splendid, just like the first one, it doesn't really do justice how scary those monster designs are. I wish there was a new soundtrack. I don't know like how many of these games are gonna have the same soundtrack, but yeah, there was no new music in Final Fantasy 2, and frankly, I'm not expecting new music for, except for maybe Final Fantasy 6. I'm not expecting new music for the next 3. The final boss, the Emperor, the second form of the Emperor, was really obnoxious. I don't think I was a fan. I liked it at first, because you know, it felt like super epic and everything. But you know, he got me on my first run of him. You know, I used up pretty much all of my items. I had 99 ether and 99 high potions, but I didn't have a lot of elixirs, and I used up basically everything that I could. And I guess I just wasn't paying attention at the time, but I basically wasn't doing any damage at all. And like all of my progress was basically being reversed because, you know, every single time that the Emperor would hit me, he would heal. And like, for some reason, I just didn't realize that. And like, you know, 45 minutes into my first try of it, I was like, I'm literally going nowhere. I wasted all that time. So I just let myself die, and then I leveled up some spells a little bit. And when I went back in, one of the spells I leveled up was Blink, which is basically like, it raises your evasion. And I have to talk about my second run of this boss fight, because it was going a lot better. My one dude had a drain spell, and he kept draining HP. He was taking like 300 to 400 HP each one. And I leveled up the Ultima spell, which was also taking like 300 to 400 HP. And you know, my tank wasn't really doing anything because he couldn't really. You can't like really land any physical hits. And my healer was the one that was also casting Blink. So all the characters' evasions were up, and like, you know, the Emperor kept missing. But you know, every so often he would get like a hit in, and it would take like 4,000 HP from the tank or my healer, and heal like 3,000 HP on him. And it's like, it sucked because every 10 rounds or so, like any sort of progress I made was kind of like just taken from me, and I was getting so pissed off. And like, I'm sure I was making like incremental progress, but I was not going anywhere. And you know, I was using my items, like I was eating through them, and I was like, I'm just gonna have to grind levels again. I'm not gonna be able to beat this game tonight. This is really making me angry. Well, not angry, I wasn't angry, I was just annoyed. But you know, my healer died and my tank died, and I was like, okay, let's just run this. Like, let's just die, and I'll just level up spells again. But I'm noticing that my main dude, who I named after me, and the fourth guy that you get at the very end of the game that took the Emperor's seat to begin with, you know, their Blink was up, and I don't know if their individual like evasions were up as well, but the Emperor like could not land a hit on me at all. I don't know what was happening, but like it was literally just impossible for him to touch me. And you know, those were the two guys casting Ultima and Drain. So like, you know, I'm casting these spells and like he's not touching me at all. So I literally just like hit square and let the auto battle happen just to like see if I would get touched, and I did not get touched. But like, you know, I let it play for like 2 or 3 minutes by itself each round, getting like 700 at a time. And that's when I realized, like, you know, my healer and my tank were basically just like dead weight the whole fight. And I was like, huh. So that was a pain in the ass to find out finally. It's like I wasted all this time using up all my healing items on them. My healing items did not touch my main dude or my fourth party member. It only touched my healer and my tank. And I was like, all right, so all of my things are being eaten up by then. I'm just gonna leave them passed out. And then they succeeded 3 minutes later. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that's the end of the game. I don't know what the hell happened. I think gamers take health bars for granted in RPGs. Even back in the old days when I played Kingdom Hearts, I remember you had to like unlock the health bars. Like you couldn't see an enemy's health for unless you like unlocked something or leveled something up. I don't remember. I really want to play those games again, but I remember, like, you know, when I would get the health bar, it would be like just a massive relief just to see like how much progress I'm actually making. If I saw the first run that I wasn't making any progress at all, I wouldn't have spent 45 minutes to an hour on it. And I just wish I had health bars. I don't think these games are gonna have health bars at all. I don't remember if 7 has health bars at all. But I hope they do. And that's all I have to say about Final Fantasy II. And I just rhymed. See you next time.